I'm Noor, journalist. Actually, कभी-कभी मुझे लगता है कि मैं journalist कम और joker ज़्यादा हूँ.
He has been a VJ, a model, and an actor. He has played a prisoner of war, a seriously cool drummer, and now, alongside Sonakshi, Sinha, and Noor, he plays a photojournalist. Purab Kohli. Hello, Purab.
Thanks for the nice introduction, Sriram.
Starting with the obvious. Noor, what convinced you about the film?
A few things to start off with. Firstly, the producers, Abundancia and T Series, both producers I've worked with before for Airlift. So when I was called by them to explore Ayan's character in Noor, it was quite exciting. Then of course the script was great, the character was great, and most excitingly the director was fantastic. I really enjoyed working with Sunhil, and I enjoyed meeting him the first couple of times to see how passionate he was about his craft and making a film. And then of course you hear about everything else, and Sonakshi playing the lead part, and it all just fell into place.
From the trailers, it looks like a very funny, eccentric, quirky kind of film with a humor, but it does have a grim undertone to it, doesn't it?
It has a tad bit of seriousness. I won't say a grim undertone, but I think it's got some seriousness because the character is looking for something more meaningful and something more fruitful. I mean, for me, it's a coming of age film, you know. So the character Noor is going through. She's an everyday sort of working girl in the city of Mumbai.
और ये है मेरी life.
दिल ये निकम्मा बाज ना आए उल्टे सुल्टे पेच लड़ाए
Fighting with issues of weight and no love life and more meaningful job, and it's her journey towards finding that. And the film does take a turn that makes you wonder, makes you think about yourself living in the city, and how we tend to overlook things that are happening around us, and maybe a stand that we want to take while watching the film. So it does have that tonality towards the second half, but all in all it still has a nice flavor of fun.
दिल ये निकम्मा बाज ना आए उल्टे सुल्टे पेच लड़ाए.
You play a photojournalist in the film, Ayan Mukherjee. Take us through the character. What was the prep for it like?
He's Ayanika Banerjee and Mukherjee is the director. But I keep saying Ayan Mukherjee also sometimes when I'm describing my character, because Ayan Mukherjee is a popular fellow. Ayan is a photojournalist. Old drum?
Oh my god, I love old drum. In fact, मेरा दोस्त साथ मुझे रमदा जोगी बुलाता है.
He's someone who boasts of being in the front line of war, and there's a photograph of his that's gotten famous all over the world, and he's now become, I mean, people know of him, you know, he's popular. So that's the character essentially, and he walks into the film. This is his backstory in the film. He's traveling through Mumbai, and he has an exhibition here, and he's exploring. I mean, it's sort of on a break in life generally, and bumps into Noor, and they kind of fall in love with each other.
Was it a nice change of perspective going behind the camera for a change?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice character. I think there's something very risque with someone who's in the front line of war, and then he's taking pictures of it. I think it's quite a charismatic sort of character.
You do have a tendency to pick characters that are like that. I mean, you played KD, the drummer, who's like seriously cool. There was Baka, who was a water diviner in Jal, and there was the prisoner of war thing. So, what drives you to these characters?
Well, prisoner of war, I played Sartaj Singh, who I don't think is quite cool, but but it was definitely a good character to play, an interesting part to play. I mean, of course, you pick from what is offered to you, but I think many times you wish a lot of roles that are not being offered to you be offered to you, you know. So you're like, I wish that part comes, I wish this part comes. Sometimes when a part comes to me, I like to read it a few times to actually see what I can do with it, and then decide whether I'm going to do it or no. So that kind of helps in bringing yourself into the part, and giving it some sort of uniqueness. And I guess I'm moving away from your question, but what I'm trying to say is that that's how you approach a role, you know. So, and then the result ends out to be sometimes different from, I mean, that's what I try and achieve, is playing each character very differently and trying to see how I can pick something that already helps me get there. I don't know if that made sense, but that's what I was essentially trying to say.
So you talked about accepting Noor because it was such a great team. So how was the experience? How was the camaraderie on set?
Well, I had a sort of very limited kind of experience with Noor because of my character being only with Sonakshi's character. So, I mean, I didn't get a feel of all the other cast and all, but that was also limited, but yet very intimate, you know. So it was just Sonakshi, me, and the director often just working with us with the DOP. It was a very small unit, sort of us shooting together, which made it quite nice. It made it a very sort of personal experience to Noor. It made me feel like the film was all about me because all those scenes were just us together. And working with Sonakshi, being the only other actor that I really acted with in the film, she's a big star, B, she's a very hardworking, diligent actor. So it's nice to be on a set with her because for me as an actor, and she's a very good actor. So, you know, also that helps in upping your game when you're on a set. You're trying to match up and make sure that you're not letting things down. So it was a nice energy on the set. And then to have a director who's so passionate and so energetic at the same time is Sunhil. I think it was quite a lot of fun being on that set.
You made your breakthrough with Hippe Pure, that was a brilliant TV series, and you returned to TV with Prisoners of War, Yudh Ke Bandi. So did you notice a change when you returned back to
Yes,
the industry?
absolutely. I mean, when I came back to do POW, I mean, during Hippe Pure, dailies were just a few, you know, it was not like such a norm that every show, if you wanted to work, it needs to be a daily. Now weeklies are just a far few, you know, so that's a big shift from television. The workload is a lot more than, you know, when you're working on a show compared to how much we shot for Hippe Pure and how much we shot for POW. I think during the 1 year of POWs we would have had 10 years of Hippe Pure for, you know, that's the amount of content we shot. Also a lot more on television compared to what, I mean, at that point of time, there were very few limited channels. You know, I'm talking almost 18, 19 years ago. Hippe Pure was 20 years ago. 1997, we started shooting for Hippe Pure. So it's television industry's come a long way since then.
Was it a little disappointing, you know, despite its positive response, it was brilliantly shot. Nikhil Advani was helming it. It didn't go into the second season. Do you find that the audience is still a little lacking?
Let's just say that I don't think any of us really expected to be in the ratings of a 7 p.m. prime time show. But it was not that. It was a 11 o'clock show. Its reach only was far less than what those shows reach out to. So it's to get a rating that high, to be the number one show on television was not possible for POW to start off with, because it's not that kind of show. For the time slot, it wasn't. I think it did fairly well. It did gather a cult sort of audience, people who tuned into it and started watching it. I think it also, often met people who would complain about how late they had to stay awake to watch it. So clearly it had kind of shifted some habits of TV watchers, you know. So I think for me it still stands as a path-breaking sort of show, and a show that will be remembered down the line, even 20 years from now, like Hippe Pure.
Talking about path-breaking, you have some interesting projects lined up. You worked with Sense8, the Wachowskis. So how did that project come about? How did that happen?
Well, like you, Sriram, I was also I'm a big Matrix fan, you know, so I once got a call from my manager saying that there's a casting director who I know was in Mumbai, and she was testing for some parts, and they said it's for an international TV show. So I got very excited, and when they came to test me, I realized it was for the Wachowskis. I said, wow, it's for Anna and Lily Wachowski, and they're like, yeah, it's... and I was like, wow, that's great, I hope I get it. But you know, I just did it not even thinking that it's going to happen. 2 days later, I got a call saying that, you know what, the audition is been deleted by mistake, can you come and redo it? And I was like, shit, it was such a good audition, I have to come and do it again. So anyway, they came over to the house and they did the audition again. It seemed quite nice. And about a month later, I got a call and saying that, well, Lana Wachowski is coming to town and she wants to meet you. And I was like, what? Yeah, like it's not on yet, but she wants to have a reading face to face. And I remember walking into the room, and there was both of them were sitting there, and there was the executive producer also of the show, and they were all sitting there, and me and Tina Desai, who was already cast as the lead girl of the Mumbai episode, the Mumbai section. She was already cast, so she was there, and I did a reading with her. And I remember leaving the room saying to them, it's such an honor to meet you guys, and it didn't matter if I got it or not, I was just so happy to meet them. And the next thing I knew, I was on the show and doing it.
As a fanboy, I have to ask this: did any conversation ever pop up about the Matrix?
Of course, we had a whole discussion with Lana about all the 3 parts.
Nice. You are in a comfortable space right now. You have had a list of films which have done very well, starting with I Left, and your family is pretty cool, and you have settled down. So, do you find life going pretty smooth, and this is the place you want to be in?
Yeah, I'm really actually, thank you but for pointing it out, but I'm really, I think I'm in a nice, comfortable space. Life is good. There was a few years of unknowingness, especially when I had did a film called Jal, as you mentioned, Bakka, which is why I smiled, because not too many people have seen that film, but I had a lot of hope banked onto that film. But right now it seems pretty smooth, some interesting projects coming up, and right now I'm looking forward to some time out with the family actually, because we've just finished shooting. I've been on holiday for a little while and will continue to be taking some time off for the next couple of weeks.
You talked about interesting projects lined up. Can you let us in on
Well,
that?
the Sense8 part, the second season, which is the most exciting and most, the closest, which is in May, and then some stuff which I will start shooting, which I'll tell you about in time.
Enjoy your holidays till then. So, thank you for
Thank you,
speaking
Sriram.
to us. Purab.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.